Hey there, I'm Frank Mitchell. On this channel, it's all about helping you understand your car and keeping it running the way it should. Whether it's routine maintenance or solving those tricky problems, I've got you covered. If you find this useful, give the video a like, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to watch till the end. You might learn something that saves you time and money. All right, let's get started.
The differences between the Fiat 500L and the Fiat 500X could be little more than minor, but there are some. In fact, since they have so much in common, it is necessary to look at what differentiates one from the other in order to know which one is more interesting to buy. Starting with the Fiat 500, the variants have been growing over the past decade until the current one. And we are not only referring to the Fiat 500 itself with the new 500e, the Fiat 500 electric, but the generation to be extinguished was literally the explosion of the catalog and the 500 as a platform. A source of inspiration from which to build a repository of different models inspired by the concept of the original. In fact, currently the Fiat 500L is a minivan that was introduced in 2017 as an update of the unveiled in 2012. At the time of its release it was sold in up to 4 very different configurations, of which right now is sold only the one marketed as Fiat 500L, a minivan with an appearance very close to what is understood as a family SUV. On the other hand, the Fiat 500X is sold as an SUV, regardless of its variant. The Access is for the most urban variant, the 500X Urban, followed by the adventurous SUV 500X Cross and, finally, the top of the range is for the Fiat 500X Sport as a sporty SUV. At the confluence of both models is the difficulty in deciding which to choose, if the 500L or the 500X, that is, between a minivan with SUV flavor or an SUV with qualities of minivan, urban SUV, or vehicle with SUV aspirations. Exterior dimensions. The Fiat 500L averages 4.24 meters long, 1.78 meters wide and 1.66 meters high with a wheelbase of 2.61 meters. The weight of this car with 120 horsepower 1.6 MJ diesel engine is 1,390 kilograms. The Fiat 500X measures from 4.24 in length in the urban version and up to 4.27 for the Cross, a common width of 1.79 and a height of 1.60 for all of them. The weight of these versions with the 130 horsepower 1.6 MJ engine is 1,410, 1,430 and 1,320 kilograms respectively. Interior measurements and habitability. On the one hand we have a minivan, on the other an SUV. In both, vehicles that enhance the interior space from a platform that tries to maximize its technology in favor of the comfort of its occupants. Which is more comfortable, the 500L or the 500X? The answer depends on where you travel. The front seats of the 500L have more space around each occupant, especially, obviously, the co-driver. There is more air from the shoulders to the doors and from the head to the roof than in the SUV. But, if you travel in the rear seats, the 500X is more spacious, which allows the 3 occupants to travel on the rear bench that can do so because, in both cases, these are vehicles with approval for 5 seats. It should be noted that this rear row in the 500L has a horizontal sliding rail that allows to gain free space for knees and legs, sacrificing space to the trunk. Now, if in addition to the response in driving wear, in itself, the trio of options 500X offers 3 different ways of understanding the same car, the space available to transport packages and belongings of the 500L is an objective reason to opt for the minivan. If what you need is a larger trunk, the trunk space of the 500L covers from 412 to 455 liters, depending on the location of the rear bench. The 500X has 350 liters. Up to 105 liters of difference may or may not accommodate, for example, a large suitcase or 2 cabin-type suitcases. Engines. The engine catalog for these cars is as follows: Fiat 500X versions, gasoline 1.0 T3 120 horsepower, gasoline 1.3 T4 with 150 horsepower, diesel 1.3 M-Jet with 95 horsepower, diesel 1.6 M-Jet with 130 horsepower, fuel consumption and fuel tanks. The Fiat 500L with the lowest fuel consumption is the 1.3 M-Jet diesel engine with a fuel consumption of 4.9 L/100 km, while the gasoline engine consumes 7.3 L/100 km. The most efficient Fiat 500X is the one equipped with the same 1.3 M-Jet diesel engine but with a fuel consumption of 4.6. In gasoline, the 1.0 T3 consumes 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers. The fuel tank of the 500L has a capacity of 50 liters, in the 500X it is 55 liters, and, in the case of diesel engines, there is an additional 13-liter tank for AdBlue. Prices. According to CarWow Comparator, you can configure your Fiat 500L from €21,600 and enjoy an average saving of more than €3,000. Although it is also possible to configure your Fiat 500X from €24,150 and enjoy a higher average saving of almost €4,500. Conclusion. In real life, the choice between the 500L and the 500X is a subjective matter. By design, by finishes or by fashion, the minivan looks like an SUV and the SUV can pass for a minivan with a rugged appearance. The use and enjoyment of these two differ in details, for example, in the greater space that one or the other can offer depending on whether one travels in the front or in the back. The only real reason that could tip the balance between one or the other is to have more trunk capacity or the maximum budget in case you want to spend as little money as possible. In conclusion, both the Fiat 500L and the Fiat 500X offer unique advantages tailored to different lifestyles. The Fiat 500L stands out with its spacious interior and family-friendly features, making it an excellent choice for those needing extra room. On the other hand, the Fiat 500X impresses with its sporty design and versatility, appealing to those who seek a more adventurous driving experience. Ultimately, your choice will depend on your personal preferences and needs. Whichever model you choose, both embody the charm and character that Fiat is known for. Thank you for watching, and we hope this comparison has helped you make an informed decision.